Hi everybody, Rachel here from Rachthestamper.com. Earlier today I did a Facebook Live video showing you guys how to make this really pretty stained glass card, and there is a full video on YouTube that I brought over from the Facebook Live, and basically these are both using vellum paper. This is with the beautiful U-stamp set and this is with the Magical Mermaid. But when I was looking into this card on Pinterest, I also saw another card that was called a stained glass card as well. So I figured I would share that with you guys first here on YouTube. So I'm going to show you how to make it using the the detailed Dragonfly thinlits. And we're going to use the largest Dragonfly, and I'm going to make this actually into a birthday card for my niece. We're going to her party this weekend. Let me just see, I have a couple pieces of wax paper here I just want to pop out. This is with the detailed dies, you definitely want to use the my goodness, what the heck is that thing called? The detailed embossing plate? I don't know. When I pull it out, I'll tell you what it is. So sorry about that. I'm doing this video kind of late at night, but I thought I needed to make this card, so I thought I could do the video as well. That way you guys could get like a 2-for-1 special in the same day. But anyway, when you do this, what I usually do first is I run it through with just like some cheap wax paper through the dollar store, and I run it through a couple times because it does help to cut easier. I know a lot of people think you shouldn't do that because the wax build up, but I've never had a problem with it myself. But you do want to make sure that when you are using your dies, that all of the previous pieces, be it of like paper or whatever it might be, are out. Because I know that sometimes I can get a little lazy and put stuff back, but it doesn't cut as well if all the paper's not out. So if you're running into trouble with your die not working, make sure that all the paper is out, especially if it's cardstock, because it definitely it can't cut that much cardstock at once. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to use Thick Whisper White for this, and actually I have to trim this one up a little bit because I think I cut it too short now that I think about it. I thought this was 4 1/4, but it's 4 by 11 scored at 5 1/2. So I'm going to trim this down just a hair more. This is supposed to be 4 1/4. So I'm going to trim this part down a smidge. And then I have a piece of designer series paper, which escapes me right now. I'm at the end of my packages. This is the Delightful Daisy. So what I was trying to do is to look for something that had a very soft focused, like a jagged bokeh background. So it wasn't anything too specific when we cut out the Dragonfly, and you'll understand what I mean. So this doesn't have to be exact to this piece of cardstock. It definitely needs to be a little bit smaller, but I want to just trim this up just a smidge so it doesn't hang over. All right. So this one should have been 4 1/4, but ding dong here trimmed it a little too close. So we're going to make this 3 3/4. I think that should be better. Yeah, that'll be better. And then I just have to trim this up a little bit because this one I did make 3 3/4. And I don't want it to show underneath. And let's see. That good? Yeah, that should be fine. And you can trim this smaller if you want to, but I was just doing it to kind of save time for you guys. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to cut out our Dragonfly. Make sure he's still going to fit on there. Just barely. We'll just have to angle him a little bit. No big deal. We'll work around it. But we're going to cut our Dragonfly out with the Big Shot. Let me just pull that over. And it's called the Precision Base Plate. It just came to me. Probably because I was going to flip it over and look at it. It's the way my mind works. Goofy. Alright, so I have the regular platform here. And this is the old one, which I still like using. I find... For me, I think it cuts nicer. But then you're going to put the precision base plate, and you want to have the cutting part up. I've seen people that cut here. That's not going to do anything for you, but mess up your instructions. So you want to have the black part up, and then you just need one cutting plate. So what we're going to do is put our Dragonfly down, and you can angle it. It'll be nice though, because it'll take up more of the card that way. That way there won't be too much white space left. And I am going to leave a little white space at the bottom. That's probably where we'll put the sentiment in. So I am still going to run this through a couple times just to make sure I get a really nice cut. And I'm just going to go back. I'm going to do it 3 times total. Sorry, my paper's sliding around because I have this on top of the stack of grid paper. Okay, so let me pull this out. I'm just going to see one of them already popped out, but I'm going to set this on the side. Let me move this out of the way. Now, if you want, you can use your die brush, but most of this should fall away pretty easily. Now, as you can see where I put this, it did cut the paper, so we kind of want to try to avoid that, but I didn't lay mine out so well. We're still going to go ahead and use this and piece this back together, but normally you would want it to be over so the paper is whole. So we're going to try to work around that. And we're going to go ahead and pop our Dragonfly out. Just a couple pokes should get it. Just be careful with the tail because you don't want to rip that. Give one poke down here. Let's see if we can get her out. And most of the pieces, so you do want to, before, if you were to make a lot of these, you want to poke all these little extra white pieces. Not very much was left over. So we can go ahead and pop these out. If you want, like I said, if you want to use your die brush, you can. But these are, I think because of the thick whisper white and then also running it through several times, it's pretty good. Funny when you go back and do something. I just, you know, I look for a lot of ideas on Pinterest, or I'll just Google a certain stamp set or something, or actually a lot of times I'll see a lot of ideas on other demonstrators pages, and I'll get to the point where I'm making it and I'm like, am I doing that right? Because a lot of times I can't remember how it was that they had the image set up. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to take our base card and we're going to fold this and just press it with your bone folder. Okay, and then, so here, we're going to lay this on top here. Just like that. So that's what I was saying right there. If this little piece was closed, it would be better, but we're not going to worry about it. So we're going to lay those two pieces down, and then what we're going to do is put this over top. So the body is going to cover it up, and then it's going to give that really pretty look to the rest of the Dragonfly wings. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some snail on the back of this. That way I don't accidentally mess up. And actually, I'm going to use Fast Fuse. So I'm going to go on the, oops, brand new one. I'm going to go on the edge. And in case you're not familiar with Fast Fuse, you do have to just move give your wrist a little flick to one side or the other when you use it. And it basically breaks the connection. It is a little difficult to get used to. You definitely need to have a much lighter hand than when you use your snail. And I find that that is probably the biggest problem that people have, is that they're like pushing on it like they do with their snail. You don't want to do that. And I like it though because it is so sticky. And I find that it gives a much better grip. Because I have found a few cards that I've made. I'm just laying this piece on top here. And like, I'll go back a little bit later and they are completely apart, which is kind of sad. Alright, so there. Pick that up. And then this little piece will just be covered right here. You really won't notice it very much. Now, if you want, you could pop this up on dimensionals as well, but I'm going to just glue it straight down, or adhere it straight down. So I'm going to do the same thing again. And just pull your Fast Fuse, so you're just very lightly and moving, and you kind of alternate sides. And if your stuff gets stuck, you just give it a little move along and start over. Again, I know a lot of people don't like it. I love it. Even though it's a pain, I still love it. And my card is a tiny bit crooked here, so I want to see if I can fix that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to put my Dragonfly right back in. Now, if you want, you could do a little bit of sponging to the edge of this just to give it a little bit more detail, which I think might be a really good idea. I'm going to do it in powder pink. I probably could do it in smoky slate, but just to stick with the theme of the card, I'm going to do it with powder pink. And I'm going to just do it just very lightly. A little bit on the wings. And then the other thing is, you can, if you wanted to, you can completely glue this down. So it doesn't have to be that any of it sticks up, and then it really will look like stained glass. So keep in mind, you might like it a different way. And I'm going to just tap just a little bit on the wings for color. That's good enough. I don't want to overdo it, because I still want it to look like the regular part of the card. So if you wanted to, you can completely just glue this whole thing back down again, and it will look like stained glass. But I think it's going to look a little bit more fun with the wings popped up. So I'm going to go ahead and just give them a little bend. And then I'm going to put, what do I want to put? I'm going to put some liquid glue. And I had my mat. There it is. I'm going to put some liquid glue. I saw the best idea, and I've yet to bring a sponge upstairs. But someone was a genius, and what they did is they have a little square Tupperware cup, and they put the liquid glue in the lid, and then they just leave the sponge sit in there. Look at that. I've got red all over the place. I'm going to have to clean that up before I start working on this. But they put it in the lid, and then they just take it and dab the glue on it. Genius idea. I wish I would have thought of that. Alright, let me wipe off my fingers before I ruin this birthday card. Okay, but obviously I don't clean my sponges. Nor did I bring up my little sponge, because that really is a super cool idea. So I have to remember to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the fine tip end, and I'm going to just put some glue. Doesn't need to be a lot, but I'm put it on this mat just in case I smeared. Okay, so we have our glue. Oops, and you need to stay over there, Mr. Red. All right, and then I'm going to put this, just press it down. You might get a tiny bit of seepage from the glue, which if you do, you can just rub it off with a clean finger, not a bright red finger. And there we go. Just like that. But, so when the wings are closed, it does look just like stained glass. Really, really pretty. So what I'm going to do is I have a little piece of, again, I did use thick Whisper White. I have a little piece of Whisper White. So I think I'm going to put the sentiment, and I think I'm going to put enjoy your special day, because this is a birthday card for my little buddy. So she's the first girl on that side of the family in a very long time. So she deserves a very pretty card. I'm going to try with the powder pink just to bring that pink back in and see what it looks like. If not, I can always change it. So this is from the Dragonfly Dream stamp set. It's just the, just that right there, little sentiment. Oh, that turned out really well. Man, my stamping is on point today. I did something earlier, and I thought for sure I was going to ruin that one. Okay, so what we'll do is, I'm going to make it square. Square it. I'm going to leave enough, but I would really love to run a punch through it, but I can't think which one I would want to do. We could use a round punch. We could use a round punch, and what we'll do is we'll just slide this in. So you have your edge there. You're going to slide it under into the cutting, and it'll just make it have a little rounded edge. That's cute. We'll do that. That's something different. But you can do that with any of your punches. If you have one that's got a little bit of a decoration to it, there we go. That's really pretty. And then what we can do is, why not? We'll add a few pearls to it. That'll be pretty. So we'll just add a couple. One here. And, whoops, one here. Ah. Okay. And I am, since there's not really much else on here, I am going to pop this up on dimensional. So let me grab. I think this should fit on a dimensional. Yep. All right. So as always, I thank you guys for watching. Just finish this up, and I'm going to cover up that little black splotch that I somehow created on there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. This is, again, just another version of that stained glass card that I did from the Facebook Live earlier today. So this is a designer series paper stained glass look. It's still very pretty, very simple card. So you see, really wasn't much to this. You could easily mass produce these if you had a birthday party or something else like that. Another fun way to do it as well, I've seen people do this, this was really fun, is if you use the 5 and then you put different colors underneath of them. So you could get like little scraps. So you could cut your 5 out, put a little scrap here, scrap, scrap, scrap. That would be super fun though. Great way to just use up some of your scrappy pieces of paper. And then with the dragonflies, there is also a smaller one. So you could do the big one or the small one. And there's the bumblebee. Don't forget about the bumblebee as well. That would be really cute. But thanks, guys, as always, for watching. If you need to get any of these supplies or anything else, you can shop in my online store 24/7, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. Be sure to follow along and subscribe to this on YouTube and Facebook as well. I would love for you to subscribe. And if you hit subscribe, it will actually let you know when I make a new video or when I am live. So thanks, as always, for watching, guys. You can follow me along on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and here on YouTube at Rachthestamper. And you can follow my blog at rachthestamper.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.